You're listening to Honey, We Made a Live Disney Podcast. Two friends since first grade, now dads reliving the Disney movies we grew up on with our own kids. I'm JB Wagner.
I'm Eddie Ferguson, and you have a friend in us as we review Toy Story. But first, JB, how are you? How are you in the family?
You should know, Eddie, because we are doing this together. We have been hanging out in person.
In the same state.
Same living space right now. And our families have been intermingled.
We just went and got snow cones.
It's got some, oh yeah, it was snow cone. No, was it snow cones?
It was snow cones.
Ice cone, snow cone. Yeah, that is. It
Shaved
is.
ice.
Shaved ice, whatever.
Snow cone. We went to the ice barn.
Yes, the ice barn, which weirdly...
You were disappointed.
I was disappointed because it's not in a barn.
It's not a barn.
It's not even in a building.
It's a trailer.
It's a trailer called the ice barn.
Yeah, it's like an old camper that somebody retrofitted into a little concession trailer thing.
Yeah, it was special.
It's cute.
It was fine.
It's sugar.
It's just sugar and ice. I was not expecting the gumball at the bottom.
You were quite confused by
I was
this.
like,
but your wife was on it. She was like,
and
oh.
I had chose one that I thought was like bubblegum. It was bubblegum flavored. And so I was like, oh, they put one in there. And when I showed her, she's like, yeah, that's to whiten your teeth afterwards, so it gets all the color off of it.
Color off.
So yes, no, but we are also, I told you about this earlier, another big
news.
Big news, actually Disney related news.
Family and Disney news.
Yes, the Wagners are headed back to Disneyland in early 2022.
Yeah.
Our son is...
For the primary reason of
my son is the perfect age for Cars Land. He's all into cars. He's all about that. And we don't want to miss out on it and wait too long.
I think there is a strong case to be made that Cars Land is arguably the best immersive land in any Disney park. I think there's a case to be made.
I don't think you'd have too many people trying to stop you from that.
At least in the United States. Some people might fight for, Galaxy's Edge.
Okay.
Some people might fight for you, like Pandora, because that's pretty incredible. But Cars Land's pretty amazing, especially at night. They perfectly recreated all the nostalgia of that.
Oh yeah, at night. That's
they got the little cars that go up and down, so you really feel like you're in it.
Yep.
Go get some cone-shaped snacks at the Cozy Cone.
Yeah. What sealed it for us was when we showed Cash for the first time a YouTube walkthrough of Radiator Springs. We needed to watch it at least 2 or 3 or 4 more times. So we decided, you know what? I know we've got some big things we're ahead of us. We're trying to buy a house, other big things. But you know what? I think we figured out how we could spend like Christmas money, some birthday money. Wasn't going to kill our budget, and we could still go for like a quick 2-day trip to, or I guess 4-day, but 2 days at one day at a park, and get that full experience. So they've never been to Disneyland, and we had that our first year of marriage where we had the passes, we did the whole thing. So
it's appropriate that that's their first Disney park to go to.
Yes, the original park. My wife is very excited that it's the original park that she's going. Walt Park. Is that what they call it the everywhere
on the World Wide Web?
The World Wide Web. On Reddit, it is Walt.
Dis Twitter.
Dis Twitter.
You never follow hashtag Dis Twitter?
No, I don't. Should I?
It's a whole no.
Just stay away.
It's people who are. They should have other things they're passionate about in life. And they use Twitter to share all the things that they wish was better at an already pretty close to perfect place.
Oh, gosh.
And you're like, don't complain about popcorn buckets to me. As I have my R2-D2 popcorn bucket. That's a popcorn bucket.
That is an R2-D2. We are in your basement. This is where you record yourself. So you probably sound fairly similar to when you're actually recording. I'm using my little portable mic that I am hand holding.
This is why we're awkwardly Mine feels more awkward.
It should, because it's not really meant to be handheld. At least
I don't know if I should
like,
hold it in my hands.
I'm afraid of what the sound will be like if you have that behind. So we're both holding mics.
But this is why I think it. See, it does look like a thermal detonator.
It does look like
from Hoth.
It does, and that's kind of why I bought that. That's why we bought that version. Was for that.
I wouldn't want any other.
And we are also, we should let the viewers at home know that we are wearing very special blankets.
Because it's cold.
Because it's
it's very cold in our basement.
It's like 95 degrees outside, but inside,
it's amazing.
It's super, super chill. I'm wearing
these are blankets made from
t-shirts.
All of the missions trips and plays. Pep band.
I see the music band over here.
Everything we were in high school together. I have, you get t-shirts for everything. That's Reborn Rangers.
Oh,
that's the Reborn Rangers t-shirt.
I don't even know that I got a t-shirt from that.
Did you do I don't think you did Reborn Rangers. No, that's not Reborn Rangers. That's Fresh Start. That's the rafting trip. We did Reborn Rangers. You did not do Fresh Start.
I think I specifically
opted out
because
it was camping.
Yeah, anything camping.
And
no.
you were like,
if you're,
I'm not gonna
our listeners know that I'm not the camping type, but I can see all of your camping stuff in here. Your
hiking tags.
Yeah, your Disney. Your what would you call that wall over there?
Well, it's the books and DVDs that I do have because I. Don't have, I don't keep a lot now that you can stream things via the internet.
The interwebs.
But I keep my Lord of the Rings extended cuts, and nobody borrows those. People all the time are like, "Oh, there's extended cuts. Can I borrow those?" And I go, "Nope." They're like, "Really?" I've got my original VHS of the Star Wars trilogy.
Ooh,
the Star Wars trilogy.
So is this is not this is the original version of it, or is this the 1995?
Yes. No, this is the
remastered.
This is before he remastered it. Ooh. So the explosion of the Death Star isn't like absurd. Because when he remastered 95, it was like 5 explosions on one. It was like really crazy. My R2-D2 popcorn bucket.
This is Eddie's favorite things over here. Fringe. I love Fringe. That's a deep cut.
The Harry Potter Funko Pop you gave me for being the best man in your wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, and then on the wall, my 2 favorite posters. A poster of the Fort Wilderness campground that we like to camp out at Disney World. And then my favorite fictional national park, Pawnee National Park.
Pawnee National Park.
For those of you who are Parks and Recs fans, the greatest comedy show ever to grace TV.
Generously donated by Grizzle Company. That's why I was like, where's the Grizzle in there? Yep, there it is.
Grizzle, go outside and stand in nature.
That's amazing.
That's the tagline. So
that's amazing.
That's a little bit of the basement that nobody else is seeing here.
Well, speaking of favorite things, one of our favorite things is going to the theater. Movies, content. Eddie, we are this next weekend begins a run of amazing reasons to finally go again to the theater.
Well, and we were just talking about this because we drove by the movie theater here in our hometown where we grew up and couldn't think of a movie that was out right now that we would actually want to go see.
Couldn't think of anything.
And it was like, if this was next weekend, there would be Cruella.
Yes, Cruella, May 28th.
Is that movie like kicking everything off?
It is, because it's Cruella on May 28th.
Okay.
Then we got Raya comes out on Disney Plus,
which
June
we've
4th.
seen in theaters.
Seen that in theaters already. June 9th is Loki. We're getting that on Disney Plus. But then we get our first big. We get Cruella May 28th. A couple weeks later, we get Luca, the Pixar film,
which is they're doing the same thing they did with Soul. They're pushing it direct to Disney Plus, no theatrical release.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Eddie.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is
everything you just said has nothing to do with the theaters.
Nothing to do with theaters other than Cruella. Wait, hold up. Are you serious? They're not going to put Luca in theaters?
Yeah. Super disappointing. I'm looking forward to this. I feel like we should do a special Friends episode on Luca because it's about two little boys who have been best friends their whole life.
I think they're going to get a
happen to be sea
special.
monsters.
There's actually going to be several special ones in there because we've got to do Game Changers. Got to do a synopsis of Game Changers, the revamp of Mighty Ducks, then Luca. Yeah, Luca. If Luca's going straight to Disney Plus,
Going straight to Disney Plus.
I don't have to shell out extra money for that. Then yes, we should do that. But that makes me so sad.
Yeah, I wanted to see this on the big screen. I want to see Luca because it looks beautiful. It's very bright. It's in
Italy, set in Italy,
seaside Italy. But in theaters,
so really,
the Black Widow, Cruella, we already mentioned, but Cruella, Black Widow, Jungle Cruise is coming out. I've been looking forward to that one. That's probably the one I'm most excited about. It's my favorite ride, and so I'm looking forward to it. Plus, I like the Rock, and I like Emily Blunt. So what can go wrong there?
It's very interesting because they actually have The Rock has a couple of big movies. He's also in Fast 9.
Yeah.
June 25th, and then you got the Jungle Cruise a month later. Eddie, it made me sad. I had this whole list of movies, and I then going through it realized, you know what? We got Cruella, nothing. Then June 18th, In the Heights is the first next one. So
which I'm excited about.
That is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Sarah and I already figured out it comes out on our wedding anniversary. So this is going to be like our date day. We're going to go see In the Heights, go out to dinner, do it up for anniversary.
I feel like I'm experiencing things for you. That's awesome.
We love musicals. And this looks like a fun one. I mean, I've listened to the music and stuff, but I don't know the whole story very well.
Well, I guess we don't have Disney news because, I guess we're teeing it off like there's going to be a run of new stuff happening, but
I think everybody's going to, slowly come back. But I think for at least I can see a solid 3 or 4 trips to the movies this summer.
Oh, I've got a lot on here. It's just it's getting pushed a little.
I'm not a Fast and Furious fan, so I probably won't go to the theaters and see that.
And I will be there opening night.
Yeah,
June 25th. For that. But Black Widow's going to be awesome. Jungle Cruise.
But I mean, there's 3 right there.
Shang-Chi is that's September 3rd. But that's in the fall.
But I mean, we're going to go see In the Heights. We'll see Cruella. We'll
Space
see Black
Jam.
Widow.
I'm going to go see Space Jam.
I forgot about Space Jam. Is that this summer?
Yep, that's July 16th. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have content worthy of not being called content, being this is a movie.
I want to go.
I need to go see a movie. I'm tired of content. I've seen so much.
We're tired of Wonder Woman 1984s.
That's one of the
Raya wasn't that. Raya was fun. I was really glad.
No, yeah, Raya was fun. I'm excited for my wife to get to finally see it.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what she thinks about some of the
all of these movies, Cruella, Black Widow, Jungle Cruise. Oh, I don't know about Jungle Cruise. Yep. They're doing the whole in theaters and available on Disney Plus.
Yep.
That must have been more lucrative than
if they're still doing
really
it.
Let on.
If they're still doing it.
I still have not seen Mulan.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't need to see it.
I have no desire to.
Don't. I'm
not a fan of the remakes in general. As I've made very clear on this podcast.
Very clear if you didn't know. But that is here, neither there. That is not why you're listening to this or watching us sit in our comfy blankets, homemade blankets, holding our mics as we talk together, because we got a special. We are so excited. This landed perfectly with a little bit of fudging. It landed perfectly that we are going to spend. This is episode 37.
Wow.
We're getting very close to a year of doing this, but today we're going to be talking about a new chapter in Disney lore, which is we are entering the Pixar age today.
That's a good way to put that. The Pixar age.
The Pixar age. because we are talking today about Toy Story.
Cue the Disney-ish sound effect. The hand. Do you usually do a hand motion?
I don't usually do the hand motion.
Wow, this is special, folks.
This is super special, super special. So we're going to still do it. We're going to do our IMDb description, the IMDb description for Toy Story, if you aren't aware of what it is, if you haven't already read it. So here we go. Okay. Cowboy Doll is profoundly threatened and jealous when a new spaceman figure supplants him as a top toy in a boy's room.
Supplants.
Got everything. Oh, we forgot to mention, I don't know if did we already mention this, that we have a Buzz and Woody action figure here on the desk with us. If you're watching this on YouTube, if this video makes it all the way to YouTube and nothing went wrong, fingers crossed, knock on wood, they are here with us today as well, because we've got all the kitty toys around.
Yes, Lewis loves all things Toy Story. We watched this last week, and we had talked about one day it was like, we were talking about this today. You have to be careful when you tell your kids you're going to do something, because if it doesn't happen, which life happens, sometimes it doesn't happen, they don't know how to handle that.
Yep.
So one day I had said, hey, tonight we're going to watch Toy Story. And he's like, Toy Story? Toy Story? Buzz? Woody? And I mean, he has Buzz Lightyear PJs that we can't peel him out of. So we just take him to the store in it. And he was very excited. And then we couldn't watch it that day. So we had to watch it the next day.
It's funny because my son, it has a deep-hearted fear of Buzz Lightyear. Like he actually does. He saw Buzz and he like backed away a little bit. There's a little bit now. He's like, you're too old to be doing that. Yeah. But it's still like he just doesn't
He's
like
not
Buzz.
Afraid of dogs like you were.
No, that's what when you open the door today, you're like, does your son does Buddy like dogs?
Is he okay?
It's like he likes them more than I do. The dogs. He calls them dog dogs. But
so did you know Toy Story? I should probably be careful doing this.
Yeah, don't shake it too much.
Toy Story has 100% rating on Rotten Tomato.
It does.
It's one of the few movies.
I thought Toy Story 2 had it, but Toy Story 1 didn't.
Toy Story 1 and 2, I looked this up. Toy Story 1 and 2 have 100%.
Wow.
Toy Story 3 is 98%.
Wow.
And Toy Story 4 is 97%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that new one really bringing down the curve with a 97%.
Well, it's the short films like Toy Story of Terror, 94%.
Okay.
Toy Story That Time Forgot, 91. Real slacker there.
Real slacker.
That one.
Eddie, do you have a vivid memory when this thing came out? Did this feel different? Were you like, what is this? It's animation? Or were you just like, I'm super, this is a cool thing?
I'm trying to remember, when was its actual release date? It was released, November 22nd, 1995.
Thanksgiving time.
And I remember, I'm pretty sure we went and saw this when we were visiting my grandma and grandpa Ferguson. Like we all as a family went to the movies together, and just remember knowing this was the first fully computer animated film, and like that was just such a going into it, and then walking out and nobody was talking about it being a computer animated film. Everybody was just talking about how great of a story it was.
I don't have any memories of being like prepped. Oh, this is a 3D animation film. I just remember just being Toy Story.
Yeah,
this was just another a animated film that I love. I wasn't thinking about the 3D part of it or whatever. I mean, we were still pretty young. Were we like 8 or 9 at that point?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a great story. I loved it. I did love the Luxo the Luxo animation,
8. We were 8.
that beginning part of it, like that felt different. But the movie was just the movie. It was just a great story.
Oh, you're talking Luxo. I forgot another prop.
Oh, there's another prop here.
Yeah.
I have a prop, but it's burned into my arm. It's dug into my arm. The Pixar ball that is on here. Yes,
I have
the Luxo ball. I also have a couple of those at home myself.
Well, I don't know. I think it is the Pixar
And
ball.
you gotta pick up your mic again.
They are the same size. I could get confused and actually speak into this one.
They're like creepily like the exact same size. Like,
Luxo's the lamp.
but it's Luxo Junior. It's Luxo Junior's ball.
Yes. So is it the Pixar ball?
The Pixar ball. It's the Luxo ball.
It is iconic to Pixar though, which is interesting.
Because then it makes an appearance actually later on, like in the actual movie itself. When the kids are coming in, there's a little ball that walks through.
So to say that this is a historic film is very accurate.
And it's underselling it.
And it is very underselling it because I think you have a couple of things going on.
But I just remember, like, when we're just talking about nostalgia, going back as a kid, that's not what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about. Now, granted, as 8-year-old, you're not really thinking about
those things. I just remember it being brought up. My grandma's an artist. My dad is into electronics. And I just remember hearing that conversation like, this whole movie was made on a computer. And I mean, you got to think like in 1995, we were just starting to get computers like in our house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We're that old. But 1995 is also the defining line for millennials. Did you know that?
If you were born before 1995, you were a millennial?
Yeah, 80 to 95, you're considered a part of the
millennial
millennial
generation.
generation.
We are technically elder millennials, is what
Geriatric millennials.
Geriatric. That was a new term I learned this week. I'd only heard it in terms of also if women who have babies later in life. They're called
After
geriatric
35.
pregnancies.
Yeah, and they have to go to
I
a
knew
special.
that. It makes them feel so loved. So beautiful.
And it's only like at 35.
Once you hit 35, you're now.
Isn't
So
that
we were
crazy?
geriatric millennial.
Well, we're not 35 yet. We got one more year to go.
That is right. We have one more year of not being geriatric.
So 1995, I mean, it's a defining moment generationally, and I think this is also a defining moment culturally that you have all computer generated films, which I think this is a good moment to bring up a key moment in our friendship when I ignored you, and I shouldn't have, for many years. You recommended a particular book for me to read, and I did not. And I remember finally getting around to it and saying, oh my, JB, why did you not force me to read this book? I actually didn't read it. I listened to the audiobook on a road trip, but
which book?
Creativity Inc. Ed Catmull, where he documents the whole history, not just of Toy Story, but of Pixar. But this is a big moment in that book because he worked his whole life
to get to that point.
He wanted to be a part of creating the first computer animated film, and Toy Story.
So you're telling me you finally just read it, or are you saying just a couple years ago you finally read it?
No, don't you remember this? The book came out like, I don't know,
2014.
Yes.
And I read it immediately afterwards.
You read it immediately and you were like,
2013, 2014, yeah.
You have to read
And because I said you have to, then you therefore
I'm a 4, so I
did
can't.
Not.
As soon as you tell me I have to do something, I won't do it.
I have a lot of that in me too.
Yes.
So
I came, we did a big road trip in 2019, and that's when we listened to 2018.
You waited 4 years. It's okay.
I waited 4 years.
It's okay. No, it's a phenomenal, because he's not the guy you would think of, oh, who do I want? I want to hear potentially from.
Well, you got the 3 founders of Pixar. You got Steve Jobs, you've got John Lasseter, and you got Ed Catmull, which everybody knows Steve Jobs because he was also the founder of Apple. Most people know John Lasseter because he directed Toy Story.
Yep.
He's kind of out front in a lot of it. Ed Catmull was always kind of the behind the scenes guy, but his book is so good.
It's incredible.
It's an enthralling history on how they got to this movie.
It's part history. It's part leadership. I've read that with a couple of different groups of people just talking about leadership. It's also talking about the technical side of stuff, organizational kind of stuff. There's so many good lessons from that book.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's one of the best books that's come out. So Creativity Inc., Ed Catmull, you should go listen. If you were listening to this podcast, you would be interested in that book.
And the audiobook was really...
Did he read it?
Yeah.
Did he read it himself?
I think he read it.
Okay.
No. I don't know.
But they did a good job with it.
It was just a really good read. We checked it out from the library, and I don't know. We like listening to audiobooks if we've got like a long road trip.
I might have to go get that.
Do you do audiobooks?
I don't as much. I mean, I love podcasts. That's why we are doing this podcast.
We are 2/3 of the way through Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, the prequel to Hunger Games.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's intense.
But anyways.
So this is not an audio.
Yeah. So we're talking a lot about how we just love the story. One thing I didn't know, so I've been going back through Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, I thought we were going to get to this.
I'd never gone through Buffy before, like through the show, beginning to end. Wasn't really watching a lot of it then because my parents wouldn't let me watch it. We were mostly watching Seventh Heaven, and we would not continue on to Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the CW.
Kind of different.
A lot different.
Maybe they would, the Buffy sequel, Angel,
yeah, maybe.
And then quickly realize,
no, not the same thing. I did not know until literally before I came over to your house because I was kind of rewatching moments from it, and in the opening credits, screenplay credited to Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. He was, and he had like the primary.
That's insane.
He's got top billing. Isn't that crazy?
How are we not more talking about this? Was this on his reel to get to do Buffy, then go on to do Avengers?
Well, he's in that generation where I think, like you look at, like J.J. Abrams got some hidden credits there.
Mm-hmm.
M. Night Shyamalan has some hidden. I think like M. Night Shyamalan did Stuart Little or something like that. Yeah, that's right,
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, were these guys as they J.J. Abrams, my favorite, he did Gone Fishing with Joe Pesci and Danny Glover, which is a Ferguson family favorite.
I'm pretty sure I watched it here with you.
Yeah. I think that generation, like the mid 90s, were just a hired pen,
Yes, that was a good nugget. I was very appreciative of that. I was like, oh, okay.
This is also, I mean, you see the beginning of what we now know as the lineage of Pixar, with like Andrew Stanton was also a screenwriter, key animator, and part of Toy Story.
And then would go on, yeah.
He goes on and does like Finding Nemo, and he does WALL-E, kind of all of those films. Pete Docter had a pretty significant role in all of this. Like third or fourth guy in line. He's the one who's now running Pixar, and he did your favorite Pixar film, Soul. And
we won't go down that to save our friendship.
Lee Ulrich was the editor, and he's went on to do seriously my favorite Pixar movie, which is Coco. Yeah, so I mean, Toy Story was the beginning of a lot of things. Not just the computer animation, but also Pixar and their trajectory.
It's a special film, and it's just really good.
It is. So let's break that down. Characters. There's no weak character. Like Woody, a very complex. Because
he's both the hero and the villain.
Yes.
In this,
you look at Buzz Lightyear.
The faux villain
that actually turns into be like the lovable guy that you just are endeared to by the end of it. And then the whole supporting cast. I think that's what really makes the Toy Story, even the franchises, but particularly this one, is that you've got Mr. Potato Head, you've got the Piggy Bank, you've got Rex, you've got Bo Peep, you've got Rex, you've got the RC car. It just feels so like, and each of those characters stand on their own. Like, come on, they got Don Rickles to do Mr. Potato Head, which if you ever want a great YouTube rabbit trail, just go down the black hole of Don Rickles comedy sets.
And then they ended up using his voice in pieces inside of Toy Story 4. They just basically took old stuff he had said and they hadn't used and reorganized it to
so he could stay in it after he passed.
Stay inside of it. And there are definitely a few moments where like that was kind of like blasé, kind of generic what he said there, but I just enjoyed the fact that they went that level to keep him inside of it. So yeah,
because he makes that character,
and it's the run of the guy from Cheers being in every Toy Story movie.
Yeah.
Hold up. The guy from Cheers being in every Toy Story movie.
John Ratzenberger.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He's in everything. He's the Piggy Bank, Piggy, and
in
Toy Story.
Yep, he's the Piggy Bank in that.
But I also love like the little random things where they like took toys from childhood. The little green army men.
Yep.
Which could easily just been like they threw little green army men. No, like it becomes a key part of the story. The bucket of monkeys is a huge part of it. You know, all of those Etch-a-Sketch is a big thing. The little microphone that you could talk into, just like thing after another where they made it the layers of characters and complexities of what a kid's toy room would be like. And I think a key moment that I love so dearly is a kid has all of their toys, but they typically have a favorite toy. Mm-hmm. And does that favorite toy in the toy world have a leadership role over the rest of the toys, right? I think that whole premise, when I went back and watched it, I was like, this is ingenious to think about it through that lens.
Yes.
And what if that gets challenged?
Eddie, what was your favorite toy as a kid? I was trying to think of it for myself. I guess it changes as you get older and stuff like that. But what?
I'm weird. I loved rope. My parents would buy me rope. Is that such a weird hill jack of a thing?
I had no idea what you were gonna say, and you could have given me 100 guesses. I would have never said rope.
Now I had and I would rig pulleys up in my room.
How many knots can you do?
Oh, I can do lots. Let's not go down that.
Mine was Legos. A whole box of Legos.
I never got too big into Legos.
We actually have that box still, and my son is getting into Legos.
There you go.
A little bit. So it wasn't like one specific thing. It was this giant box of Legos. That was my favorite. That was my favorite toy. When we were talking about just genius things for this film, one of the sneaky funny things that I loved about this film that they spun on its head is the fact that the toys are afraid of birthdays.
Yes.
That it's like everybody else you would think, oh no, this is like a big moment to like kind of for in a kid's life, having birthdays is a great experience. No, for these toys, it's a death knell for some of them because some of them will get left behind or maybe even given away. I think the line that I found in here when I was going back through it, or I just didn't write it down and now I can't find it anywhere because you know what? That's just how my life is. And
Are you thinking of the line where a kid gives like PJs or something, or like PJs? Who invited that kid?
That one was good. Oh, here we go. Birthday. Next month's garage sale fodder. That's how they describe their existence if after birthdays and Christmas. and how they're just so on edge about the next toys. And then Mr. Potato Head wants a Mrs. Potato Head, which comes in at the very end when the way to go, Idaho. We definitely repeated that a lot.
The flow of events, just kind of like the beats of how they leave Andy's room, end up in, the gas station and then the Pizza Planet, which has one of the most iconic moments with the little green men.
The claw.
I meant to change my shirt and wear, I have a t-shirt that's all the little green men, but dressed as different Pixar characters.
So that's fun.
Like the green men dressed as Carl and all that, but I forgot. Maybe another time. And then back to Sid's house.
Oh, Sid's house.
Which is an interesting exploration into the psychology of some kids. But I think one of my
not us. We were
never like that.
We were like that.
I was too busy tying up rope. The moment where Woody organizes the other toys to like torture Sid, is terrifying, but hilarious at the same time. When he
breaks toy character, to just get right up in his face is like, so play nice. It's like, I remember it getting me when I was little. It was like, oh man, he broke it for a second there anymore, but no one's going to believe him if he said his toys were talking to him.
Yeah, and there's something about that like progression, right? Of kind of changing those spaces. And then you have that culmination in Woody is trying to get him and Buzz to the truck with all the toys. And they're fighting the other toys, and there's just that mounting tension and everything.
Can't quite get in,
And then you think, oh, they're going to make it on RC, and then he runs out of batteries, and then remember that Sid strapped the rocket, propels them down the whole street, and then you have the moment where they're all the way up, and Buzz finally flies.
Yeah. Well, no, he doesn't fly.
Woody says that you fly.
This isn't flying. This is falling with style. Uses his line again.
Brilliant writing and story structure all around, and to come back down.
And it's why it's great, because it wasn't just, okay, we are now starting a new chapter of full-scale animation for feature-length films. But they started it with a basically perfect movie to some degree.
Well, and I think it's when you talk about the Pixar era, we're also changing that it's not a musical. It's not based off of a fairy tale or other source material. This was a wholly original new movie. Prior to that, I don't think Disney had done an original concept animated film.
Say that again? I missed what?
All other animated films that Disney had done to that point were based off of something else. Except for The Lion King, I guess, could technically be considered original source. But everything else was Beauty and the Beast is based off of a legend. Little Mermaid is based off of Aladdin's based off, all the way back to the beginning. Everything was based off of another IP or source material. You get, and Lion King is technically original, but it's based off of Hamlet, right?
Yep.
It's pretty obvious. Toy Story, totally new original story.
Totally original.
There's nothing sourced there. And then from there on, you see a pivot in even Disney animation, because you get something like Atlantis. That's an original concept from there on out.
Making waves.
Changing
everything.
But Pixar's never done something based off of anything, to my knowledge.
Yeah, nothing's really coming to my head right now.
They will. Because they're going to do To Infinity and Beyond, or they're going to do Lightyear. the movie based off of Toy Story. Based off of Buzz Lightyear, I guess, in Toy Story.
Oh yeah, there's so many Inception levels to it. I can't believe we've gone this far and not talked about the music. Randy freaking Newman. I don't know that there's a more iconic voice in just being
like his voice.
There. I know. I mean, iconic voice isn't even the right way to put it. When you're talking about a voice that isn't a mainstream to even all the other voices I'm thinking of, like they have like they're kind of grounded in something familiar. This is just different. Randy Newman has just got a different sound that you can't even replicate.
He wrote and the songs, composed the score and songs, and performs them for all 4 movies.
And it's crazy that I'm sure he has somewhat of a music career outside of this, but you mostly just know him for You Got a Friend in Me and those films and other Pixar films.
I would highly recommend, one of my favorite podcasts is 4 Scores. And it's I think Disney produces it, where they will, interview composers for all of their like the work that they had done for Disney, and the one where they interview Randy Newman is fascinating.
Ooh.
Fascinating.
So podcast that we should listen to.
4 Scores. I can't do it justice, so I'm just going to tell you, go listen to it.
Yeah.
You know whom else we have gone this far and not talked about?
Any of the actors in
Yeah, we brought up Don Rickles, but we totally passed over the 2 most prominent ones that anchor the whole thing.
Tom Hanks
and Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, which we talked about a little bit previously, because Tim Allen's been in
The Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus, which we had talked about.
But this is the first time we've come to anything with
Tom Hanks
in it.
I mean, can you think of 2 more 90s actors at that time, family-friendly actors at that time?
No, you think about it, 94, 95 is the back-to-back, I believe, of Tom Hanks, his Oscars.
Oh, gotcha. So
they
did some great casting for to make this first. They did everything right. They could have just rested on first animated feature film. Hey everybody, but I think they knew they had to get it right to make it worth reinvesting again and again. And if they're gonna go big, they're gonna go big.
Yeah, and I think that's the other part where Disney Animation had sometimes used really famous people, sometimes not. And if they were in it, that wasn't a strong part of the billing. This movie, the fact that Tom Hanks and Tim Allen were in it was a strong part of the marketing and billing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And from this moment on, you do not do an animated feature without some heavy guns in it.
Yep. And I love the fact that they keep on coming back into all of the films that they I mean, granted, they're probably paying them astronomical amounts of money, but they've done 4 films over how many years now?
4 films and like 4 or 5 little short films as well. Yeah, no, they've stuck to it. They just don't do the toys and merchandising or the theme park voices. Do you know who does the voice for Woody in those settings?
No.
Tom Hanks' brother.
That's awesome.
Isn't that funny? And you can kind of tell, but not really. It sounds pretty darn cool.
There's something there. I think my son got some little code to call Buzz and Woody and Bo Peep will come tell you. I think it's for pull-ups or something like that. That you can you click on this go to this link and they're like, "Is a big kid there? I got Woody and Bo Peep to tell you about pull-ups." And they're like, "Hey kid, you're going on a new adventure. We're so proud of you. Keep on doing what you're supposed to do," or whatever. And you can tell immediately this is not Tom Hanks. This is fake Tom Hanks. Anyways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they wanted Tom Hanks. so even the test footage, they took scenes from Turner and Hooch.
Oh.
And took his lines from that movie and made Woody saying those lines
Interesting.
to help convince him to be a part of the film and bring him
Oh,
into
that's
it.
cool.
Because it was uncommon, you know? I mean, prior to this, you had Robin Williams do the genie, but that...
JTT in Lion King.
JTT, sure. But a lot of things, they would have started Toy Story probably before those films were commercially released.
Probably in there, like several years before that.
Yeah, so
Aladdin's
a 93 and Lion King is 95.
Yeah.
Or 94. So, yeah, they would have started much earlier than that. So, I mean, it's significant, yeah, that they got all of them in there.
Some of the moments I remember as a kid, and we would say randomly all the time, I had mentioned earlier, way to go, Idaho. Another one that I wrote down, just remembering, and I knew it was coming the whole time, was Sid, when he gets kind of woken up a little bit, but not really from his sleep. It says, I want a pony. And he's like got his like butt up in the air, like sleeping in the weirdest, awkward position. That was definitely one of the ones that me and my brother would say all the time. It's like, I want a pony.
I'm trying to think of if there was any significant. The Way to Go Idaho, for whatever reason as well, was a big one. The I think the one though that stands out for me the most is the little green men going, the claw.
It moves. It'll choose who will stay and who will go.
And then the whole like, I have been chosen.
I have been chosen. I'm going to a better place.
And then when they try and like hold him back, no, he has been chosen by the claw. That whole thing is just, I loved it. Yeah, it's masterful. It's wonderful.
I was reminded today, just kind of leading up into that, the truck, the Yo truck, the Pizza Planet truck. We were watching today one of the
Inside Pixar.
Inside
shorts.
Pixar got dropped 5 new ones, and one of the things that they do in there is they talk about all the vehicles and how it also talks about the story. I hadn't really. I mean, you emotionally get it, but even like Mr. Incredible, all the different vehicles,
the layers of storytelling. Yeah,
but they talked about how that the truck. The Pizza Planet truck is in every single film.
Every Pixar movie.
Except for, or did they say everyone but one? Was that the one that said it was in everyone but one? Or no, it is in every single one.
I've always heard that it was in every single one.
And they showed a lot of them. It's like, you're right, that one there. And there's like a Cars car that looks like the truck too. So
yeah, they work it into them in all sorts of different ways. Yeah. So do we even bother rating this?
I mean, the real question is, and we haven't really come back to it, is the Pantheon or the Mount Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore. So here's where we said it was a Mount Rushmore of Disney animated films.
Yeah.
I don't consider this a Disney animated film.
Oh, you're going to say
no, because Pixar is a separate studio.
Okay.
Disney was the distributor.
So we need to have a separate Mount Rushmore Part 2.
Yeah,
for Pixar.
We have a Disney
Pixar
one,
Mountain.
And we have Pixar.
Okay, Mount Rushmore, and we have Pixar Mountain.
Disney,
Mount
Disney
Pixar.
Mountain.
The
Mount
two completely
Disney.
separate. Mount Disney and Mount Pixar. I'm okay with that. Because there's already so many movies that I don't know if we can put Pixar right next to the horse movie. I don't, because it's obviously going to be on Wild Hearts Can't Be Broken,
which comes out on, that should have been our Disney news.
Oh no! What?
Is that it came out on Disney Plus last week?
Eddie, you know all of our views are gonna take our YouTube views. We have That's the one video on YouTube that is killing it. But it's just because everybody's been trying to find it. I think our podcast, I think we made that happen.
And Disney should cut us a check.
I think they should cut us a check because there's at least 100 people that tried to click on the video.
And you were like, really? Should we do this one? Like, it's a great movie.
Well, you sacrificed for us both by buying the DVD and then mailing it to me or whatever. Was that the one?
Yeah, I mailed it to you.
Oh gosh.
With an envelope inside with the self-addressed return because I'm like, I have a feeling he's not going to like this movie, and if I don't just pre-address it, he may just chuck it away.
Oh, I would for sure.
Oh goodness. So we're going to set up a separate one.
We're going to set up a separate mountain just for Pixar. And it's funny. I don't think I've gone through. I need to go back through and, well, one, I need to remember what I rated everything, but
sure.
I need to start picking out my Disney mountain and see if we have come across any that, I mean, obviously something has come across that we would have on there because we've hit so many big ones, but. So
maybe this is a question we save for when we go over Toy Story 2, but Toy Story 2 is 1 and 2 were the only ones that came out in our childhood. There's now 4.
Yep.
Which of the 4 make it? How would you, or do we rank the 4 Toy Story films?
That's going to probably be its own podcast, just ranking all 4 of them. Maybe when we get to 2, we go ahead and talk about the other 2 as well.
Well, I think it's worth even saying now, when I watched this one, the last Toy Story movie that I had seen was, we had watched this one, the second one, the third one, right before the 4th one came out.
Yeah.
Because we were like, oh, this was fun. We'll just kind of watch them all. It is crazy the level animation is at now.
Yeah.
When you go back and look that this was the very first one and where they have come now. Like that was still pretty amazing. And there's still some things where I'm like, you see the scuffs on the toys and the dents and the dirt and like they do an amazing job of animation for how, rudimentary it was back then. But you fast forward to Toy Story 4, it's mind-blowing.
Yep.
The level of animation.
Yes, I'm totally on board. Yeah, I think that we'll do that. When we do number 2, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about all 4 of them.
All 4, and we'll rank them then.
Because we're gonna need some extra time for that. I'm actually getting teared up a little bit thinking about, especially like the 3rd one, all the nostalgia, and there's so many, like, you thought it was gonna be done at that point.
Every one of them has a moment.
They do.
There's a reason why they're like 100%, 98, 99.
Yep.
Yeah. So 5
stars across the board.
5 fruit snacks or 2.
5 gummy worms.
5 gummy worms. 5 Pixar balls.
5
whatever
Pixar
our
ball,
rating. Whatever our rating.
Action
is.
figures. Yeah. All of just find 5 of your favorite things. Give them a hug.
This wins it all. This wins it all.
So Eddie, what is going to be our next film we're going to do, which will be a normal film because of the fact that we don't we're not going to be in person.
Oh, you mean a normal recording?
It's going to be a normal recording. What's our next one going to be?
The Big Green.
Big Green. We'll visit that.
Did you? Well, we can talk about that.
I did a lot of soccer in my day, right. So I'm going to feel like I'm out there on the field with them like I was back in the day. A little nostalgia on that as well. But yeah, us and Caleb Archer. A guy I went to high school with who looked exactly like the kid from The Big Green.
Yes,
and
right on the poster.
Embraced it. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you watch this on YouTube, we do have this on YouTube most weeks, as long as it's recorded. Actually, the GoPro stopped and then started again on its own, which freaks me out right now just thinking about it. But
who knows?
Who knows? But thanks for listening. But I gotta go because I gotta go home and go to bed and
my kids are upstairs
and
still crying.
I feel so bad for Sarah. I can hear her fluttering upstairs, going back and forth. So we should probably give her a break.
Yeah.
But
thanks for listening.